Hello, everybody. This is Love from Above by your Sibling Spirit Guides. I'm Maureen, and this is my brother.
Hey Maureen. Hey everyone, this is Brian.
Hey, Brian, we're so happy to be here. If you can believe it, on this podcast, we share daily channelings we receive from star beings, ascended masters, mythical beings who really exist, and occasionally our ancestors. And today's topic is, boy, Brian, this one really stuck with me. There is no other. We are one. So, you know what, Brian, when I was going through our archives, I think we hear the phrase like we are one, we're all connected. I mean, it's become ubiquitous. But these are all channelings that go, I don't know, I feel like this is stronger. There is no other. There is no other.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, do you feel like that's a stronger statement than we are one? I feel like it is.
Right, right. No, I agree. And yeah, this is a consistent theme that it's really in our society. Of course, most people are unaware of it for sure, it seems like to me, but it is a fact. So I do find it interesting, you know, just in some places it's more prevalent than others, but like I was, spent some time this summer up in Chicago and just it always cracks me up though driving and some it's just like very self-focused and selfish and sort of that's just one thing that comes to mind. It's easy to see sometimes where people are all out for themselves, and especially that sometimes appears on the roads, I think. But anyway, we'll get into it. I think it's a lot deeper than that, but it's just how we're all connected, and it's some great messages here.
Yeah, I mean, there is no other. And I think, we live in duality. Everything is like, are you in this side or this side or, you know, and so yeah, rising above that. I mean, I don't know. I just find this really, really strong. So again, if you haven't listened to our podcast before, we go through our archives and pick out sessions of channel sessions on a similar topic. So this first one is pretty recent from July 26, 2026. And Brian, you're going to love this one. The need to form a new political template. You want to kick us off?
Sure. So, darling child of the inner light, extend your hands and behold the glory of the one and all. Darling children of the light, we give you our attention and bequeath upon you the steadiness of coming days. For what could be more admired than less turbulent times to solidify yourselves and grow in magnitude of heavenly light? You are doing so well. We are pleased with this conversation. We wish to address a subject that is rarely discussed in your culture. It is the hairy wart on your aunt's nose that you try and avoid looking at, but is prominent in your mind as you engage in discussion. This, of course, is your political discourses established within your culture. The harmful nature of these battles, where one side is pitted against the other, sets in motion a constant wheel of conflict that is then mirrored in other areas of domestic pursuits. When everybody works in peace and harmony, cooperation, and loving admiration for the benefit of all, then harmony persists within the culture. These dynamic debates, which engage much of the population, are to be ignored. For if you subsume to the conversation, much will fall apart in your own world. You see, these government templates form a basis for your culture. Pick a side and engage with the other in combative practices. This is not to be admired. The other is you. There is no other. And while humans see humans frequently battling against themselves with disgust for their physical appearance and actions. So the government structures are a template for the world structure in which you enjoy. Can you imagine your presidential leader embraced in love with all other leaders of the planet? Envision this, dear ones, and it shall be forced to come a reality. We say no more. Wow. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, can you? That's what I'm thinking. Like, can you imagine our president embraced in love with all of the leaders in our planet? Well, I
No.
guess if we put it in our vision, it has to become a reality. It has to become a reality. I will tell you, this was one of the funniest things. I lived with our parents for 2 years when my dad was dying. I was assisting him, leave his physical frame. And yeah, our mother, the president who's currently president would just drive her crazy. And I would be like, Mom, Jesus would love, the president. And she was like, no, Jesus could not love this man. And I was like, no, Jesus loves everybody. But yeah, we can only have love and embrace everybody. And this political divisiveness, this is just really, you can see it's a template for our whole world, right? And it's divisive and we can't take any part of it, right?
Yeah, yeah, and we've talked about how the news is and really, yeah, the news and the media in general is to be ignored, and that's what they make their money on, live on this stuff. It's like this, like they said, it sets into motion a constant wheel of conflict that is just on our news every single day. So that's why you can't be watching that stuff. But yeah, we're getting there. I'm hopeful that someday soon we're going to see, all these, major changes, and, we'll be in a different, everyone will act more, lovingly to everyone. But it's exciting. I'm excited to see that when that occurs, and I'm hopeful for the future.
Yeah. But you can see and I think this is why they really want us to stay away from, anything harmful, like even if it's a violent movie, to stay away from that. And, there's so many studies that if you play a violent video game or you watch a violent movie, the effects on your neurocircuitry from that. And yeah, it's just, and I've been to political rally. I have been to a political rally. And, it gets you all riled up and you're like, yeah, yeah. But, it's, kind of yes for us and no for the other person. And again, there is no other. I just find that such a strong statement. So, yeah, I'm grateful for that one. I'll go into the next one, which is just another message on there is no other from July 22nd, 2026. Oh, darling ones, we are enthralled and enraptured with this mightily divine opportunity to spread the concourse of divine light. Do you know that love is contagious? That the bleeding of good hearts cannot be contained? We adroitly position ourselves as the rightful heirs of humanity's future. We concourse through this dialogue. Brian, I have to just stop there. They're always using this word concourse. I don't really understand what they're talking about there. Do you know what that means?
No, I guess in a general sense, but yeah, I'm not. I would never
Yeah,
use that word.
they're always talking about concoursing. Anyway, I pause. We concourse through this dialogue, which is difficult to disseminate through so many sessions. We begin now. The concourse of love continues. We wish to envelop those who can mightily splay their loving energies equally. Do you love the Republicans and the Democrats and the communists and the socialists? Do you love Fox News and CNN? Do you love Argentina and Spain? This is when they were battling in the World Cup. Do you love all beings everywhere, including your beloved pets, plants, and crystals? Spread your love like a sneeze that cannot be contained. It must be spread everywhere. People should be able to feel it and welcome it into their hearts. Do you remember your favorite third grade teacher? Walking into that classroom was a joy every day. Why? Because Mrs. Riley loved you. She may not have been the best teacher in the world, but she created a safe space for loving energies to abound. Have you created safe spaces in your workplace, in your home life, in your social media platforms? Do they adequately reflect loving energies, or are you choosing sides? This person is no good. This product is not to be used. Remember, there is no division. Once you rise higher from the thicker densities of your planet, you will see that there literally is no other. You cannot criticize what is rightfully yours. Well, we suppose you could, but this would not be beneficial either. Love thyself first of all. So isn't that interesting? And you can feel love. Like, it's like going to your grandmother's house or your beloved aunt's house. Like you can feel it. And yeah, just a reminder, you can't pick sides ever because there is no other.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. The one thing that what did you make? I didn't really care for the analogy of like a sneeze.
I know, isn't that funny? Spread your love like a sneeze that cannot be contained. Well, that's not
Like just sneeze over everybody. That's yeah, it must be spread everywhere. I'm like, that's not. I get the point, but that's but no, it is a great message and also like about the safe spaces and you
yeah.
know that and then really love thyself. I mean, that's a big thing, of course, that a lot of people just don't like themselves or don't like a certain part of themselves or the way they look or something. And,
Right, right,
so I think
right.
all that stuff is really important.
Yeah, yeah. And I do remember my third grade teacher, and it was her last year before retirement. And it was like going to your grandma's house every day. I mean, we didn't learn a lot. We really didn't learn a lot, but we didn't. I mean, no one, you were supposed to be taught cursive writing, and she didn't teach anyone in our class cursive writing. And so the whole class had to be reassembled in fifth grade because they figured that out fourth grade. But anyway, but she was just she really did. She loved us all. And yeah, I had a great year. So yeah, I mean, hopefully, I know you and I really work hard to create loving spaces where everybody's welcome, and that is something you can definitely feel for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I remember that name, but yeah, I obviously didn't have her, but that's such a, I can relate to that having a great teacher, especially in elementary school when you're young that you can really relate to. So, um,
It makes such a difference,
yeah.
and she was literally, it was like going to grandma's house every day. I mean, she was just so loving, and yeah, yeah, she was just so loving. So yeah, I'm grateful that I had her for the year. And isn't it amazing channeling? Because if you would have asked me the name of my third grade teacher, I would probably have to really think for a while to come up with it. But in channeling, like boom, it comes right out there. So it's interesting.
Oh, interesting. Because I do remember like the teacher I really resonated with and remembered the name, but I thought you still because I was thinking the same thing. I don't know. I don't remember my third grade teacher's name. I do remember the
No,
one I
I
really
didn't.
connected with.
Yeah, after I channeled, I was like, oh yeah, that was her name. Yeah, I didn't remember her name. I mean, I can picture her and I can picture the classroom, but I did not remember her name. But lovely, lovely woman. And yeah, just really grateful to have had her for third grade. So yeah, and that's the model. We want to create, a loving space where, you walk in and you can feel it. You're like, like going to grandma's house, like I said before.
Yep. Yeah. So I'll go on to the next one from August 31st, 2025. In the higher realms, there is no other. Hello, I come forward to honor the bond we cherish. The ritualistic practices of your churches, templates, and mosques endeavor to harmonize the interior self. Much good has come from the unification of the many who serve in these ritualistic institutions. We see the breaking apart of fractal matter that harms the interior self. Oh, how we do admire the self-worthy aspects of the interior self. Much should be made of the groupings that occur in your youngest ones. These groupings help to augment the spinal nature of your interior self, providing the needed support to allow these children to flourish in the harsh environments in which they sometimes live. Our children are never relegated to such trials and tribulations until they are older and have the strength to face fear. That is a different matter. The brightest star that surrounds your planet hallows from the deepest part of the darkest space. The same is true for the individual human. The brightest part of their star comes from the healing of the deepest wounds inside their only self. Self-worth and self-containment are actually similar actions and phrases. The boundaries of what can and should be done are, I'm sorry, of what can and should be, the higher self respects that the actualization of the interior being. Although, truth be told, there is no other in the highest realms, but where you endeavor, there can be differences between the individual selves. You garner our true intention. That is all. Rest and delight in the ever present of the one creator. All right. Can you break this one down for me? I sort of get it, but want to get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I mean, well, I like how they say that their children never face such trials and tribulations that
Yeah.
some of our children face until they are old enough to face fear. So, because there's a lot of children in our society that are really, put in very, very harsh conditions. But they're saying, which is true, the brightest star comes from the deepest part of deep space. And it's like from your deepest wounds becomes your strength. It's
Mhm.
through like the challenges in life. And that's something I'm always saying. I'm like, okay, I don't have to learn through challenges. I can learn through love, laughter, and joy. That's a prayer that I said for like years. I'm like, okay, people, done with the, learning through, pain and struggle. And because you can absolutely, learn through joy, laughter, and love. But it is through that. And I think too, when it gives you authenticity, like if you have had a struggle, I'm trying to think of someone like, so say someone in the public eye and they've turned their life around, that really gives them authenticity and as well as strength. Does that make sense?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to just go on and say, like, Brian, have you felt this? Like, so when I get like into a really deep meditation, I am in a place where there is no other. And then, like, I don't know, just come back down here. It's like, whoa, what the heck is going on? But do you know what I'm talking about? Like, because you can get in meditation, you can get through astral traveling, you can get through out of body experiences where you are in a place where there is no other.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we've talked about this, but I'm sort of clairsentient. So a lot of times, and I've been, you know, they're doing some work. I mean, I can feel it and it feels great. I'm like, and I guess I'm even right now as we're talking, my head is tingling. So anyway, it's like, you can totally feel, I can totally feel this amazing energy and whatever is being done for my higher purpose or greater good. But so I know exactly what you mean, and it feels amazing. And then then you have to go on with your regular day. So, but you have to. It's you can't always be in that world. You have to live your life too, right?
Yeah, I was actually talking with this about my son because I used to spend a lot of time. So when you can go to this beautiful place where we all one, I used to spend the majority of the day out there. And then I had a teacher who was like, she's like, you've got to stop doing that because you can't pull anything into this world. Like we are literally the connection between heaven and earth. So if you're always up, and really not in your physical body and you're in astral traveling, then you can't pull it into your body. You actually need to be the bridge between heaven and earth. And when I started doing that, that's when my whole life changed. And because you're right, you can't, but it's beautiful to have that touchstone. And I think it's important to have that touchstone. And I think the more that you go there, the more that you bring into and resonates in your body. And it's, Brian, we haven't shared this on the podcast, but we got a really important message couple months ago where they were talking about building a bridge, that all of these sessions are like building a bridge. And, the more you go out there, the more you're building that bridge, the more strength that you have, the more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. I think it came up because it was context. So it's like, man, they're always working. I'm like, is it ever end or you ever? Yeah. And they're like, no, it's like building a bridge. It's a huge project. So,
Right.
but yeah, that's that's a good point to remind everyone of that.
Yeah, so I'll close this off with yet another. There is no other. This is from May 15th, 2025. They said, listen to our words carefully as we speak through this loving vessel now. Oh, how we admonish humanity for their lack of concern for thee. Other, what is oneself but an extension of the other? Can one truly be separated from the other? Does a caring mother or father not tend to all of their children, regardless of their individual circumstances? Stop seeing the other as not aligned with your unified purpose. This simple technique shall do much to enhance the quality of your life and all life on this glorious planet. So yeah, just another way to close off. There is no other, which again, I just really think is a super strong statement as opposed to we are one, which is also a beautiful concept, but there is no other. Wow.
Yeah, that sums it up well. So great messages. Glad you put this one together, Maureen. Did you want to mention about the work on the book?
Yes, yes, people. So if you want to see all of these sessions in their entirety, you can check out our book. It's in written form on any place you would get your book. It's an ebook, so Amazon. Oh no, we do have it in print too, right, Brian? We have it in print.
Yeah, and actually just on Amazon or the hardback, I mean the paperback or the Kindle version.
Yeah, so check it out. And we're working diligently on volume 2, which will be the second 6 months, which will probably be out later this year. So yeah, we thank you all for listening. And of course, we thank all of the amazing beings who help us with this delightful project that we're thrilled to be a part of. Any last thoughts, brother?
No, thanks everyone for listening, and we'll look for you next time. Bye.